Alright, let's fix the crash damage and some of the rust on this heap. First things first, we have to remove the interior because I don't want to get damaged when I'm doing my welding and grinding. Alright, that's seats and carpet out. That wasn't too hard because it was already partially disassembled by the last owner when they got sick of the project. And there are no treasures back there. Only some mouse poos and yeah, nothing much. I pulled the dash out previously when I fixed that. So that's out to that stage. I may pull the whole car down to a bare shell. I don't know at this point. We'll see where this project takes us. Now, time to take the door trims off. One hot tip is to get yourself one of these compartmentalized containers. And I've just marked them with what they are. You will love yourself when it comes time to put it back together in a year or 2 or 3 or whatever, because you will forget where everything goes. All right, on to this. These speakers actually look all right. Oops, not now. Alright, on to the fun stuff. So first I'll just do a quick disassembly for you and then I'll show you where I'm at and what I have to do. Alright, as you can see, it's all pulled apart. Plans have changed a little bit after looking a little bit closer. There's a bit more rust than I thought, so obviously I knew about that, but if you look right in that hole, there's a little bit of rust inside that hole and you can't fix that without taking this panel off. So plan is at this stage is to cut this off somewhere here, across there, so I can buy new, what are they called, gussets I suppose, from Garage Yoshida. I'm going to bite the bullet, they're not cheap, but I'm going to do it. Do it once, do it right. So that means that I have to at least cut this much of this panel off, and then I can weld it back together, or I might buy a new one from Nissan because I know they're still available. But there's also, if you can, I don't know if you can see in there, yeah, you can see a little bit of rust right in there, and that's super hard to get to without pulling it completely apart as well. So yeah, a bit more work than I thought it was going to be, but I'd always have it at the back of my mind when I'm driving this thing, wondering if it's rusting away. So this is where it counts. Spend the money. All right, this is what I've already fixed, well, semi-fixed. It was pushed in a little bit here, as you can see in the previous video, but I pulled it all out before the last owner kindly supplied me a cut of an R34 four-door. So I've pulled all this out, back to where it should be. Now it's time to clean it right up and weld this sucker on. And the plot thickens. Usual story for rust. Got a bit going on here. That was the bit that we could see through the little hole, but that's not too bad. But then I looked in here. You can't really see. I'll shine a torch in there. Can you see that? There. That can't be left. So that is a problem for another day, but I'm going to definitely remove that, repair here. Strut tower still looks good. Hopefully I don't have to replace them because that's a humongous job. Yeah, all right, let's get back into it. Alright, it's another day. I've actually have to fix this patch here, which is that. You can see that rust hole in there. It's actually starting to come through inside. Before I install a new panel on top of all of this here. If you ever wondered what's inside a Skyline sill, that's what it looks like. Well, there's all wiring and insulation and stuff behind, if you can see it in there. So I have to remove that, and then I'll get this fire blanket and I'll stuff it behind so we don't create any fire hazards. And then we'll remake this panel, prep it up and weld it in. There we go, fireproofed. Here I've got my 0.9mm cold rolled steel. I'll attempt to make that shape. You can see that it's got that profile in there. That I need to keep that because it's for a drain. And then this part here that welds onto the flange. Just mark it out. Yay. Let's see if I can do it, eh? With my limited skills. Well, first idea is I've got a socket here which is about the same size. I might just hammer it into that and see what happens. Doesn't have to be anything amazing. Inside the card, just do the job. And there we go. A non-rusty piece of metal. That'll fit in just fine. Through primer. Only need it where you won't be able to get to later. On my fingers. Beautiful. Let that dry. See, it's tucked in. Had to muck around with the settings a little bit, but they're good now. Now I'll just take my time and do one little tack weld until it's all filled up, and then I'll grind it off. Next thing, I have to fill up these factory side skirt holes because they're not needed anymore because I don't have factory side skirts. The easiest way I've found is to put a dissimilar metal behind it, and you can weld literally on top of that, and then that piece of metal just won't stick. So it'll create something for it to sit on top of while it's molten. I usually have a piece of copper, but I can't find it anywhere, so let's try this piece of aluminium. Let's see what happens. That was a success. Welded beautifully, and the piece of aluminium just came unstuck easily. So let's do the rest. Alright, time for a final scuff before I put some rust converter on it and paint the inside. And I'll of course use weld through primer wherever I'm welding. I normally use a red Scotch Brite, but I don't have any, so grey it is. what I'm using for the next bit. It's just normal rust remover, deoxidizer. Paint it on, let it dry, then paint over it. And then I'm just going to use normal Colgal, black Colgal. This part is probably going to make some of you a bit mad, but I don't care. It's inside here. When I do all the body work, I'll definitely be putting a bit more effort in and making sure everything's spot on and compatible with all the other products, so you don't have issues. But inside here, who cares? Just make it not rust. Oh, I decided to read the instructions. This one is not one that you leave on. You have to get a damp cloth and wipe it off. Look at that. You learn stuff when you read instructions. Probably use a bit of metho to dry it quickly so it doesn't surface rust. All through primer again. Get angry about this. Like a glove. Not really like a glove, and after a lot of hours of work. Got a little bit carried away here because apparently I don't know how to weld anymore, so I turned into a grinder. I eventually worked out the welding settings on the last 2 spot welds or so that's a win. I haven't ground that bit yet. It looks half decent, and then I just have to weld this bit in and then I'll tidy it up and that's just about done. Alright, we're all done. I'm actually stoked that I could get this finished today, because it turns out it's been a huge job, lots of hours. Anyway, this is why we break our build down into small portions. Otherwise we just get overwhelmed and you wouldn't even start it. Like I've said before, I'm completely self-taught. So don't be afraid to give this stuff a go yourself. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You mess it up and you have to cut it out and try again, and you learn. I absolutely love doing this stuff, and I'm glad that I can document it on YouTube for everyone to see. Even if you don't like what you see, you might learn something from what I'm doing. If you've got any questions, just hit me up in the comments and I'll definitely answer them for you. Till next video. See you guys.